Welcome back. So the Falcons have a quarterback dilemma on their hands this offseason, and which is an offseason that they'll be very pivotal for the direction of this franchise. They really have a chance to become a competitive team with $75 million in cap space, a top 8 draft pick, but they have to decide if Desmond Ridder is the guy, which Arthur Smith at his end of the year press conference was non-committal to, which isn't surprising. Ridder was good, wasn't great. I don't think you can say 100% he's the guy, 100% he's not the guy. I have faith. I might want to hand him the reins. I wouldn't mind it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons traded for someone, and there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks on the move this offseason. So I want to do a little buy or sell. And let's start with a guy that Arthur Smith has a lot of familiarity with, Ryan Tannehill. Alex, buy or sell Ryan Tannehill as an option for the Falcons this offseason?
I certainly think it's an option. I don't think it's a realistic possibility. I think the Titans will probably part ways with him. But I just think the direction of the franchise as it's going, Terry Fontenot said it best, we're in the next phase of the rebuild. Deion Jones is the last major contract with dead money that's dragging the Falcons salary cap down. 2023 is still being affected. 2024 looks much cleaner. When you start committing to a quarterback like, Ryan Tannehill, now if you get him for what we got Mariota for, $10 million, I'll be all for it. I just don't see that happening. The familiarity is just the biggest
like $36 million next year.
Well,
now, I don't know how much
Titans could certainly cut him and eat that.
I don't know how much.
He has void years on his contract. This is what here. I'll do this real quick, and then y'all can go back to what you were saying. They can cut him after June 1st. They'll only have $9.6 million dead money, and they'll save $27 million. But before June 1st, they're gonna have to eat $18.8 million, and they'll only save $17.8. So they're kind of gonna cut it down the middle. That's for a trade too.
Yeah, I mean, my thing about Ryan Tannehill is he's 34 years old. I understand he had great years with Arthur Smith, but I think that's more Arthur Smith than it is Tannehill. I think Tannehill was a guy that held the Titans back. I think a lot of those teams around him were really good. So I don't see any reason why the Falcons should have interest. I mean, other than his connection with Arthur Smith, it makes no sense to me. We're not going to win with Ryan Tannehill. I would rather see what Desmond Ridder has and even have a worse record than just go 10-7, win the NFC South, if that's really the height, because that's all we're going to do with Tannehill. Yeah.
Listen, I've got a hot take for you. Mitch Trubisky would be as successful, if not more
Taylor
successful.
Heineke. You just wrote about him, Jake. Taylor Heineke, Mike White, Gardner Minshew. Give me one of those guys for like $8 million to compete with Desmond Ridder than trading for Ryan Tannehill. So he's a sell for me.
They will not trade for him.
Okay.
And the Titans could potentially cut him, just like Jake said. It's very feasible for them.
Well, here's the big name on the market, and everyone's going to be talking about this. He's going to be the hottest potential trade candidate. It's Lamar Jackson. Now, I'll start with this because I think we saw the Falcons go after Deshaun Watson. I think Lamar Jackson's even better than Deshaun Watson. So if he is available, I think the Falcons would put together a package and try to make a run at him. I see no reason why they wouldn't. They've made it clear, unless they actually think Desmond Ridder has the potential to be the guy, which I don't think they do yet. I think they could make a run at Lamar Jackson. My reason why I'm selling is I just have no confidence. I do not think that the Ravens are going to trade Lamar Jackson. They have looked awful without him. Like, just figure out your differences. They're a good organization. I feel like he still wants to be there. I don't think it's that big of a deal what's happened at the end of this year with his injury or non-injury or whatever's going on. I don't think that relationship is fractured that much. Figure it out. Sign him to a deal. I don't think they're going to trade him.
My concern too is I buy the Falcons being interested. They'll definitely call about him. My thing is, like, do you really think this team's a quarterback away? Because I don't.
No,
absolutely not.
But I think Lamar Jackson is he's 25, 26 years old. He's your guy. You trading for him. Yeah. You're talking about that's the reason why I would buy that if he's available, because you're trading him for the next 10 plus years. So, but I would be shocked.
I love Lamar too, by the way. This is not an anti-Lamar thing. This is an Falcons will not competently support him thing. It's the other way around.
Listen, I support Lamar Jackson in terms of getting paid. Nobody deserves it more. MVP guy. He's done a ton of great stuff. He's wildly entertaining. But let's not pretend that the NFL owners are not going to collude on all of these next quarterback contracts, because the Haslams screwed everybody over giving Deshaun Watson that fully guaranteed deal. That's what Lamar Jackson's looking for. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it from the Ravens. He's not going to get it from the Falcons. I guarantee it.
He's not going to get it from anybody.
Anybody.
First
That's
of all,
the
that
whole
was unprecedented and ridiculous. But also, Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback. I mean,
he's
how
also
long is he going to last?
Himself.
Yeah. How long is that going to? How long is he going to last? Is Lamar Jackson going to? I mean, maybe, but is Lamar Jackson going to be as fast at 35? And if he's even playing at 35, than he is right now. So I think he's at the peak of his athletic career. And I understand why the Ravens are hesitant in giving him a ginormous Patrick Mahomes-like contract for that reason, because he could get injured, and he's injured right now. But fully guaranteed, I don't even think that's on the table, especially for a guy like Lamar. You can't fully guarantee a running quarterback that could get injured his whole contract.
Analysis aside, it would be awesome. Let's get that out of the way. It would be.
I am all for Lamar Jackson coming to Atlanta.
I mean, for the site, for the hype around the city. I mean, hell, we would actually have a full stadium for the first time in 8 years, which is the most embarrassing part about this franchise is nobody shows up to the games. Just for that reason alone, that's why I wanted to. I mean, Deshaun. It was like transgressions aside, at least it makes it exciting. At least we have something to write about and talk about. But Lamar Jackson, I mean, he would get this fan base going. I mean, we would find, and listen, we would be a playoff team with Lamar Jackson. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He would fit perfectly. And imagine, I was talking about Lamar Jackson, little Kyle Pitts, little Drake London, maybe draft Darnell Washington, 2 tight end sets. I mean, that to me is just like, that gets me going. I want to be there week 1 for that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, Darnell Washington in the second round. I think that's like, I don't lock many picks in. I think Darnell, like when I do my little mock drafts and everything, Darnell Washington in the second round will be a staple until people are like, yeah, this guy's going top 15. Because if you've seen him block in the run game, this poor little defender for TCU,
and he
took him back to the bus.
And just imagine that in Arthur Smith's offense. Imagine that in Arthur Smith's offense. I'm almost mad that the Falcons are picking number 8 because you can't take him number 8. But like if we had like the 25th pick, I'd be like, yo, give me this guy. Because I think he just fits so well.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine if the 49ers just move back up to the first round and they have him and Kittle just absolutely bullying guys for Kyle Shanahan's run game.
All right, let's go to this next guy here. Derek Carr. Buy or sell? I think the Falcons
buy the interest. Derek Carr is absolutely going somewhere. This was just a few minutes ago. He posted like a big goodbye to Raiders fans. He's going somewhere.
Yeah, and Rappaport just a few moments ago said that they're going to try to trade him, which once they benched him, it was obvious that he was going to be traded. I don't think he's going to cost that much. I think maybe like a second rounder, maybe 2/3 or something like that. I don't think it's going to be ridiculous. I think if you do trade for Carr, he's 32. You can work out an extension and make his deal team friendly for the next couple of years. So you're not wasting a ton of cap space this year and next year or whatever. So I think the Falcons will be interested, and it all just hinges on, Ritter, if they think Ritter's going to be the guy.
I think that Derek Carr is vastly – I don't think underrated is the right word. Maybe overhated. He is much closer to a top 10 quarterback than a lot of people realize.
I think he went from overrated to underrated. Like he was overrated when people were calling him an MVP candidate, and now he's like people that are just crapping on him. Like, dude, this guy's like a top 12 quarterback.
He's good. Yeah, like he's good. He can make plays. He can make
He's
throws.
A top 12 quarterback, Alex.
He's aggressively average. But there's such a small difference between the 11th best quarterback and the 16th best quarterback. There's such a small difference. I could make an argument that Jimmy G was better.
No, you couldn't.
Yes, I could.
No, you could not.
He threw for 3,500 yards in like 15 or 14 games.
He threw for 4,800 yards last year. He finished third in an MVP race. What are we talking about here? He's not Jimmy.
I've seen plenty.
Get that.
Plenty.
All right.
He's the type of guy. He's the type of guy who starts trying to like talk his teammates up.
If Derek Carr was on the 49ers, they'd have 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
they would have 2 Super Bowls.
Yes, they would, dude. Kyle Shanahan, bro. Come on, dude. Come on. Stop that. All right. Speaking of
Kyle Shanahan,
let's go to a different 49er, Trey Lance. Now, this is a much different road, but if the Falcons reportedly had interest in him in the draft, could they, re-spark that interest this offseason? Because Trey Lance definitely could not be a 49er.
Bye. You look at Brock Purdy, the guy they got with the 7th round, last pick of the NFL draft last year, can run this offense. Trey Lance becomes a luxury. They look to move him. I don't know what it would cost. I wouldn't give up too much for him because he hasn't been overwhelmingly impressive. But you cannot deny the gifts that he has. I would buy Trey Lance. I don't know if he'll even end up being better than Desmond Ridder, but he has the tools to be one of the top guys in the league. Will he be? I don't know, but I love his upside. Obviously, the Falcons were in love with him. We heard a report about them being at Trey Lance's workouts and stuff every single week before the last draft. They're definitely going to be interested. I don't know if it'll be a public thing. I don't know if the 49ers are even going to dangle him publicly, but I buy them being interested 100%.
Sell. Why would you trade all of your future and then trade that guy? They're going to trade Brock Purdy and Jimmy G. That is what's going to happen. If anything, they'll keep Brock Purdy because we just saw Trey Lance get hurt. They'll go into spring as open competition. It'll be Trey Lance. Brock Purdy will back him up. Jimmy G's gone. Think about this. Brock Purdy can run the offense. Brock Purdy can run the offense. Trey Lance can elevate the offense. That's the difference. And they know that. That's why they gave up, so many first-round picks for him. That's not going to happen. I buy the Falcons' interest. I'm selling the 49ers' disinterest.
I kind of agree with you, Alex. I think that's fair. I mean, going in with Trey Lance and Brock Purdy next year and then maybe, if Trey Lance does get injured again or he's not the guy, then maybe you're exploring a trade. But I don't think they can do it after really not even giving him a chance. I mean, he's made, half a start in the NFL, and you traded a boatload of draft picks. I mean, you traded, 3 first-rounders or whatever to come up and draft him. And I do think Lance and Shanahan's offense, I don't think it takes much to succeed in Shanahan's offense. I really don't think it does. So I think
Brock Purdy was not good in college.
Yeah, so I think a talent like Lance with Shanahan calling the shots, I think he'll definitely figure that out. So I understand where you're coming from.
Until they draft Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett could be great in Shanahan's offense. I really believe that. But coming up after the break, ESPN released their way too early top 25, and we are going to discuss that. Georgia Bulldogs, of course, are sitting there right on top.